এখানে অডিয়েন্সে অর্ধেকেরও বেশি নন মুসলিম এসেছে এবং যারা অ্যাওয়ার্ড পেয়েছেন তারা সবাই নন মুসলিম এবং তাদের বক্তব্য থেকে এটা পরিষ্কার হয়েছে তারা আমরা এই অ্যাওয়ার্ড দেওয়ার কারণে তারা কীভাবে অনুপ্রাণিত হচ্ছে এবং তারা অনেকে কিন্তু বক্তব্যে বলে দিয়েছে তারা প্রতিশ্রুতি দিয়েছে আরও বেশি কাজ করবে এবং এক্ষেত্রে তারা মুসলমানদের সহযোগিতা তারা চাচ্ছে। আমরা আশা করি আমরা সকলেই মুসলিম কমিউনিটি এবং অন্যান্য সকল কমিউনিটি এবং এমসি এর মাধ্যমে এই ভালো কাজগুলোকে এগিয়ে নেওয়ার জন্য ইনশাআল্লাহ ঐক্যবদ্ধভাবে এগিয়ে আসবে এবং আমরা সবাই মিলে একটা সুন্দর সম্প্রীতিপূর্ণ একটা সমাজ গড়ে তুলব, এটা আমাদের ভবিষ্যৎ প্রজন্মের জন্য একটা শান্তিপূর্ণ সমাজ হবে ইনশাআল্লাহ। থ্যাংক ইউ।
মুসলমান নাই, তারাও আন্দোলনের সাথে তারাও আন্দোলনে স্ট্যান্ড আপ করা, তারা আমরা এমসিআই মনে করছেন যে তারাও রেকগনিশন করা, তারা সেলিব্রেট করা। সো আজকের সেরেমনি আর আজকের অ্যাওয়ার্ড সেরেমনি ছিল তারা অ্যাওয়ার্ড দেওয়া, তারা রেকগনাইজ করা, তাদেরকে কন্টিনিউসলি একটা রিলেশনশিপ রাখা। আমরা জানলাম যে ফর এক্সাম্পল গত বছর আমরা দেখছিলাম যে রায়াটও করেছি, তারা কিন্তু স্ট্যান্ড আপ করছেন, যারা আমাদেরকে স্ট্যান্ড করছেন আমরা তারাও স্ট্যান্ড করতাম। So it's important tonight যে আমরা এই অ্যাওয়ার্ড সেরেমনিটা দেখছি।
We're in London, and in London our communities live together, not just in peace and harmony, but in love, and we feel part of the same community. We are different facets of one community. Because the Muslim community and the Jewish community in London, in Britain, are happy not only to be neighbors, but to be friends and to be people who work together for the common good, for the good of all of us.
Francis Davis from the University of Birmingham, where I work, and I live in Southampton, not far from Abu Bakr Mosque. I mean, amazing to be nominated from within a community who've inspired me throughout the whole of my life. It's absolutely fantastic, and to have that recognition.
Not only is Islam a religion of peace, it's also a religion of science. And regretting perhaps the majority of the population of this country are not aware of the true Islamic history and of the way in which Islamic science and Arab science has influenced.
We're here to celebrate and recognize individuals who have made huge contributions in their respective fields. Basically, acknowledge humanity, acknowledge humanitarian endeavors, and we are one ummah, one community. So excellent that work you're doing. I'm very grateful for being able to serve humanity.
Barrister Hamid Azad, the Central President of the Muslim Community Association, to come to the podium. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good evening. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you all. I was just taking the view of the audience from the front row. It's almost impressive as the turnout. I was also quietly debating whether I should be more nervous about addressing such a distinguished audience. But in the end, I have decided to be brave and stand firm. By the grace of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope you will help me, inshallah. Thank you very much. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear honorable guests, brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it's with immense joy and deep honor that I welcome you to the second Muslim Community Service Award and Gala Dinner. It is heartening to see so many familiar faces here today, and as well as new ones. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and for making the time to spend this evening with us as we celebrate a truly special occasion. This award is our way to recognize and celebrate the outstanding contributions made by individuals in our society, especially our non-Muslim friends and colleagues whose dedication and service have positively impacted the lives of British Muslim. Like every other good deed, this practice of recognizing, acknowledging, and celebrating the friendship and support extended to us by our non-Muslim friends also stems from the tradition of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Please allow me to share with you such an amazing story from our beloved Prophet's life. It's the story of Mut'im bin Adi, chief of Bani Naufal tribe in Mecca, and contemporary of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who never embraced Islam. Yet during the most crucial moment of crisis, he extended, i.e., Mut'im extended his protection and support to Muslims. When the entire Muslim community was placed under detention for 3 years in the valley of Abu Talib, and almost a Gaza-style total siege and boycott was enforced, it was Mut'im who dared to break the siege on a number of occasions and supplied food for the hungry Muslims detainees. And again, when Prophet Muhammad's preaching mission to Taif ended in rejection, ridicule, and repression, it became impossible for him and his group to re-enter Mecca without pledge of protection from some leading figure in the city. Accordingly, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent message to few. No one responded except Mut'im. He announced that he is pledging protection, and along with his 4 sons escorted the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Kaaba. On a different time, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in a position of power, he generously recognized Mut'im's contribution. Although Mut'im died the previous year, after the victory of the Battle of Badr, a group of 70 leading Meccans were brought to him as prisoners of war. Looking at them, the Prophet, peace be upon him, commented, "If only Mut'im was alive today and asked me, I would have unconditionally set all of them free." Ladies and gentlemen, that is why this initiative is unique, perhaps the first of its kind dedicated to honoring the contributions of our non-Muslim allies. This effort seeks to foster unity, understanding, and gratitude at a time when division, mistrust, and conflict are far too prevalent across the globe. Too often, we fall into the binary of us versus them, forgetting that we are all members of one human family, bound by shared values. As Muslims, we are taught to uphold the values of justice, kindness, compassion, honesty, integrity, patience, forgiveness, modesty, respect to elders and parents, loyalty, and above all, love for God and His messengers. Dear respected audience, do you think these values conflict with British values? Certainly not. While our faiths may differ, our core human values unite us. When we abandon this spirit of unity, we sow the seed of distrust, division, and dispute that extinct man's humanity and too often reduce man into mere animals, as we are witnessing in Gaza today. Perhaps this is why we must also take a moment to express our deep anguish and moral outrage over the ongoing violence and sufferings in Palestine and across various parts of the Middle East. The relentless attack on innocent civilians, the destruction of homes, hospitals, and places of worship are not only deeply unjust, they are violations of humanity, violation of fundamental human rights. As people of conscience, we condemn all forms of aggression and call for an immediate end to the bloodshed. Justice, dignity, and peace must be upheld for all, regardless of nationality or creed. The voice of the oppressed must be heard, and their suffering must never be ignored. My beloved friend, in this moment of global unrest, it is important to remember that Islam is not merely a religion, nor simply a mission. It is a complete and balanced code of life, a timeless source of peace and tranquility, a timeless source of peace and harmony. It offers guidance on all aspects of human life, spiritual, moral, social, legal, and economic, in a way that is relevant and compassionate in all circumstances and all days. It is this holistic way of life that inspires us to serve others, to speak up for justice, and to build bridges of understanding. In this time of tension, conflict, and injustice, we have a tendency to look for the enemy or the perpetrator, which is natural, because there can be no pathway to finding solutions without first recognizing the problems at hand. Yet, in those same moments, we often find allies, people who stand with us in solidarity, offering friendship and support. It is no secret that British Muslims have endured rising level of Islamophobia and hate. In just the first few days, we have seen mosque attacked in Ireland, individuals targeted, and distributing rhetoric from certain politicians, disturbing rhetoric for certain politicians, journalists, and media outlets, rhetoric that only aggravate fear and division. And yet, in the face of such adversity, we have also witnessed tremendous support from friends who stand beside us. These individuals have worked to combat deprivation, health disparities, and social inequality. Many have taken personal risks to defend and support Muslim communities, and for that, we are deeply grateful. In line with the timeless pronouncement of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, "He who does not thank people does not thank God." It is our collective duty to recognize, appreciate, and honor these contributions. To each of you who has helped in any way, we say, Shukran lakum. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, in these uncertain and troubling times, the world needs a renewed commitment to the shared values of love, compassion, justice, and fairness. I urge our community to draw inspiration from the Medina neighborhood model, a model of peaceful coexistence among Muslim, Jews, pagan, and non-Muslims. A model of peaceful coexistence among Muslims, pagan, Jews, Christian, and others. This remarkable example of unity turned a once fractured society into a harmonious and civilized one. People of different faiths live side by side, practicing their beliefs freely and respectfully. Today, I make an universal call. My fellow brothers and sisters, my friend, let us stop killings in the name of war and strive for peace, love, and tranquility by embracing the spirit of the Medina neighborhood model in our communities. Let us work together for such a cohesive and peaceful society. Ladies and gentlemen, turning to tonight's ceremony, congratulations to all winners and runners-up of this year's award. Your work, regardless of race, creed, or background, exemplifies the highest service to humanity. While we cannot award every nominee, we express our heartfelt appreciation to all those who are nominated. Whether or not you receive an award this evening, you are all role models and shining example for us all. And to those who are not selected this time, please know that your selfless awards have not gone unnoticed. You are all winners in the eyes of this community. As mentioned, The Muslim Community Service Award and Gala Dinner is led by Muslim Community Association, IMCA. Our organization is rooted in the teachings of Quran and prophetic traditions, promoting a balanced and compassionate understanding of Islam. Muslim Community Association members are guided by the values of their faith and strive to uplift individuals, families, and society through a variety of initiatives. I extend my sincere thanks to all those in MCA who have worked tirelessly to organize these beautiful events. A very special thanks to my beloved brother and leader, Mr. Dalwar Hussain Khan, for shouldering the responsibility and leading the management team of this great event with dedication. We also express our gratitude to our supporters and sponsors for making this evening possible. There includes Supporting Independence, Islamic Relief, Ashraf and Company Accountants, Baraka Bazar, Salam Abayas, CK Frozen Food Limited, Partnership Care London, Work Permit Cloud Limited, All Seasons Food, UK Islamic Mission, Pran Foods, HR Properties London Limited, Gram Bangla, Food Direct, Eligma Pan Asian Restaurant, App Bank, Sarkar Solicitors, Muslim Council of Britain, Breed College, Bamford Trust PLC, and Islam Channel. Finally, thank you to all nominators for your thoughtful submission. We have seen a remarkable increase in the number and diversity of nominations this year. A very special thanks to our judges who carried out their duties with diligence and integrity. I hope this evening brings joy, meaningful connections, and lasting memories for all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you, Barrister Hamid Azad, the Central President of Muslim Community Association.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Ayman. I am your co-host for the evening. And without further ado, we'll be moving into the community welfare section. In the words of the messenger, the true believer does not go to bed with a full belly when his neighbor is hungry. And this category is for those who have fed their neighbors before they fed themselves and healed their neighbors' wounds before they licked their own. To announce the winner of this category, we have a humanitarian of remarkable stature, Dr. Husna Ahmed. She is the CEO of Global One, a faith-based international NGO focused on women, among many, many other organizations that she has contributed to. And to hand out the check, we have Sister Moinat Kokar, who is a long-serving, dedicated member of the Muslim Association of Nigeria. So would both of our awardees like to come up to the stage?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's been a pleasure to be a judge for these wonderful, wonderful awards, and really, really well deserved. So I've been tasked with presenting for the runner-up for the Community Welfare Award, and I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the award winner is Kathleen Jackson. Could Kathleen Jackson please come up?
Kathleen Jackson has been a cornerstone of community welfare and intercultural understanding in Loughborough since 1977. Her deep cultural sensitivity led her to travel to Bangladesh and India in the early 1980s, learning firsthand about the communities she supported. While visiting Sylhet, she was struck by the hardship faced by children in slums and tea garden communities. In response, she co-founded a school under the stars, laying a foundation for what would become Friends of Kashtobir, a UK registered charity supporting education and community development in Bangladesh. Over 25 years, Kathleen's fundraising efforts through church events and community dinners raise approximately £40,000 annually. These funds now support 12 pre-primary schools, youth training and aid for widows. Her work spans continents but is grounded in relationships. Regular home visits, shared meals and Eid celebrations built bonds of trust and friendship between Bangladeshi and British families in Loughborough. Kathleen's story is one of quiet dedication and deep human connection, demonstrating how long-term commitment can shape stronger, more inclusive communities at home and abroad. Dr. Husna is now giving her the award.
Thank you very much indeed for that. I find it a great honour and a great privilege to be here tonight to receive this award. I must say that over the last 45 or so years, I have enjoyed every single minute of working, particularly with the Bangladeshi community in Loughborough and also the wider community in the Sylhet region of Bangladesh. I can't imagine a better job to have had, and also later as a volunteer, helping to increase awareness of the need of the Bangladeshi community, but also seeing that community grow and develop, and in education and all sorts of other ways. So thank you very much, especially to the Bangladeshi Muslim community and everybody else who has nominated me for this award tonight. Thank you.
To announce the winner of the category, we have Abul Khair Ali, who is the Director of Supporting Independence, a remarkable organization which has been providing vital care to the most vulnerable in our communities for over 2 decades. Hand out the check, it will be Mosleh Faradi, who is the former president of the Muslim Community Association and has been serving the community for longer than I've been alive, I'm pretty sure. So let's please both welcome them to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and good evening to distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go into disclosing the person who won this award, I understand from the organizers that this particular individual has been instrumental in working to make a significant issue that affects Muslims at the time of death, particularly in relation to the procedure of autopsy before burial. So she's been doing a lot of work in the Midlands and up north, and we hope that similar kind of outcomes can be achieved here in London, in the southeast as well, inshallah. So for the category of Community Welfare Award, for the first prize, the winner is Her Majesty's Coroner Professor Catherine Mason. Congratulations to Catherine Mason.
Tonight, I believe Kathy Mason will not be making it, but Ian Cartwright will be collecting the award on her behalf. Professor Cathy Mason, Her Majesty's Coroner for Leicester, has transformed end-of-life services for Muslim communities through her pioneering partnership with Muslim Burial Council of Leicester. Under her leadership, Leicester became the first city in Europe to offer virtual autopsy, CT scanning, as a free alternative to invasive postmortems, honouring Islamic principles whilst upholding legal standards. This groundbreaking initiative, funded through the coroner's budget rather than private means, ensures all families, regardless of income, can access respectful, culturally appropriate services in their time of grief. Professor Mason's approach blends compassion with innovation. Her work has not only benefited Leicester's Muslim community, but has also influenced coronial services nationally and internationally, for example, in Australia. By championing dignity in death and cultural sensitivity in public services, she has set a new benchmark in inclusive care. We're going to play a video from Cathy Mason.
Good evening. First, I must begin with both an apology and a heartfelt thank you. Though I cannot be with you in person today, because I'm on a long-planned family holiday, I'm deeply moved to address you now, even if only through this recording. Please know that my absence is no reflection of the immense gratitude I feel for this extraordinary honour from the community who has given so much to this country. To receive this national award for my work in virtual autopsy is both humbling and exhilarating. This recognition is not just for me. It's for every family who has ever faced the anguish of an invasive post-mortem examination, and for the communities who have longed for a more compassionate way. Virtual autopsy is more than innovation. It is a promise. It is a promise that science can honour faith, that dignity need not be sacrificed for answers, and that grief should never be compounded by unnecessary pain. This prize is not an endpoint, but a beginning. The award money will be invested as seed funding for a project close to my heart, undertaken alongside my dear friend and colleague Suleiman Nagdi, MBE DL, whose 3 decades of tireless advocacy in bereavement care, both at a local level through Embacol and at a national level through NBC, have been a guiding light. Together, with a network of dedicated partners, we are tackling 2 of society's most pressing challenges. Thank you for this incredible honour. Let it be the spark that ignites change, the first steps towards a future where compassion and preparedness go hand in hand. With deepest appreciation, I send this message and my very best wishes to you all. Thank you.
Moving on to our next award category for community engagement, can I call to come to the stage Muhammad Ali Harris, the CEO of Islam Channel, who will be announcing the runner-up. And also, if I could ask Ayub Khan, who's the member of the Advisory Council of the Muslim Community Association and former chairman of the East London Mosque Trust, to also come along with the check that will be presented.
I'm pleased today to be here. This is the second awards ceremony. I attended the first one. I'm pleased to attend the second one as well. This is a good initiative that we should all be proud of and support. Today I'm announcing the runner-up for the community engagement. And the runner-up for this award is none other than Mr. Carl Arendel.
So as Carl makes his way to the stage, Carl's a media professional and community advocate whose work has strengthened engagement between British Muslim communities and wider society. As Director of International Operations and Strategic Planning at Islam Channel, he has helped shape the channel's editorial direction and outreach strategy, ensuring that Muslim perspectives are represented in mainstream discourse. Beyond the newsroom, Carl has been a consistent presence at conferences, community forums and advocacy events, using media as a bridge to connect communities, highlight pressing social issues and promote dialogue across culture and faith boundaries. Carl's leadership has helped bring Muslim voices into policy conversation and fostered greater understanding between communities during moments of tension and transformation. His ability to connect people, platforms and ideas has made him a key figure in advancing meaningful, inclusive engagement across the UK.
I have to confess, when I first received a phone call out of the blue informing me that I was nominated for this award, having literally just months earlier undergone life-threatening open-heart surgery, I immediately wondered whether there had been a mistaken message that I had demised prematurely, and that this was a posthumous award. And it was Muhammad Ali, the CEO of Islam Channel. And he started by reminding me that, as he put it, Carl, he said, 90% of the people you work with and the people you know are Muslim. And if you don't take Shahada now, you may not see any of them again. To which I very promptly replied, now give me the bad news. There was a pause, and Muhammad responded by saying, I'm glad to hear that you've still got your sense of humour, Mr. Arendel. Now, I also recall one of my several interviews on the channel with Imran Khan, the former Pakistan Prime Minister, before he took up office. I asked him, with all his proposed major tax reforms, whether he wasn't worried that he may go the same way as his predecessor, who was assassinated. He replied, brother, people often make the mistake of thinking that their destiny is in their own hands. The truth is, it is in the hands of the Almighty. Now, my retort to Muhammad Ali the CEO, in case you were wondering, was just another example of my sarcastic wit. I actually passionately believe that I've been privileged to work and be inspired by some remarkable individuals in the nearly 30 years working in the Muslim community. Individuals like, and I feel compelled to mention, Abu Yusuf, otherwise known as Dr. S.M. Mustafa, one of the founders and managing trustees of the Palestinian charity Interpal. To me, it's people like Abu Yusuf who represent the greatest Muslim role models, his unrelenting commitment to the people of Palestine, and without whom, let me be honest, I would not have been able to drive an ambulance full of humanitarian aid, baby milk, medical supplies from Al Arish in Egypt through the Rafah crossing and eventually at speed through Gaza City with sirens blasting and escorted by police. And I think of people like Muhammad Ali here, the founder and chair of Islam Channel, now the historic patron of the iconic publication of the left, the Tribune magazine, a pioneer in defending the rights of Muslims over several decades in Europe, leading the Muslim TV network, during which time I've been privileged to stand side by side with him in the channel's resistance of the crude and unrelenting attempts to undermine and demonize the Muslim community during the war on terror and beyond. I reflect on the many historic moments, such as his decision to host an Islamophobia conference in Copenhagen at the time of the Danish press cartoons of the Prophet, peace be upon him. At that time, the Muslim community was under siege by a hostile media and government. The global unity and peace event brought the community together and helped to provide strength and meaning to their faith. In conclusion, I'd just like to say that I read on the attendance confirmation this morning that the awards were to celebrate and honour individuals outside the Islamic faith who have made a difference to Muslims across the UK. And it occurred to me that some of the most significant contributors to the defence and well-being of the Muslim community are indeed not of the Islamic faith. So I salute these awards, and I'd like to thank Miriam Ismail for nominating me and the judging panel for considering me worthy. Thank you very much.
Well done to Carl Arundel, and also thank you to Muhammad Ali Harif, the CEO of Islam Channel, Ayub Khan, and also Mohammed Qutba, Chairman of Finsbury Park Mosque. So well done to you all. Now to announce the winner for the Community Engagement Award, can I ask Afsana Begum, Member of Parliament for Poplar and Limehouse, to come to the stage. And if I could also ask for Muhammad Riaz Wali, the President of UK Islamic Mission, to come over to hand over the cheque to the winner.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everyone here tonight. It's an honour to stand here before you once again today among such impressive community organisers, and I want to just express firstly my gratitude to the Muslim Community Association for organising this event once again and for your tireless work in upholding our shared values, the values of compassion, the values of justice and the value of service to others. Events like this are more important than ever before, and at a time when so many communities across our country and across the world are facing immense hardship, the principles of kindness, of tolerance, of solidarity shine as a beacon of hope. Now, there's already been mention of the crises that we see in our country today, whether it's the cost of living crisis or the climate disasters that we see. And we know that those crises have hit minority communities the hardest. But we have also seen something else. We have seen our communities rise time and time again to face those challenges with great resilience and generosity. So I'm very pleased to be able to be here today to celebrate the extraordinary contributions of people who work with and to support the Muslim community, whether that's in education or healthcare or organising in workplaces and much more. You've stepped up, you've engaged, you've supported us, as well. And when injustice has persisted, you have been voices for change. And I just want to say this because it would feel wrong not to mention the horrors unfolding in Gaza as I speak. We must reaffirm our commitment to speak out against genocide, and we can never ever be silent or look away. And I hear this sound, and I know that's because we know our communities have always been at the forefront of speaking truth to power. And today is not just about recognition, it is about reaffirming our commitment to serving those in need, standing up for justice, and building bridges and understanding in an increasingly fractured world. Those are the values that I think resonate across our communities. They're the foundation of a fairer, kinder and united society, and one which we must continue to work together towards. So to our winner for the Community Engagement Award, who I'm about to announce, every nominee, every volunteer, every organiser tonight, thank you and congratulations. Your efforts remind us of the power of community and collective action. And I will now announce the winner of the Community Engagement Award, who is none other than Mark Herrera Gaia.
Mark is a long-standing leader in civil society with over 40 years' experience working across the voluntary, faith and community sectors. A former county councillor and member of the LGA's Community Wellbeing Board, Mark's influence spans local government, national charities and European networks. As co-founder of civil society consulting CIC, Mark has supported Muslim-led and minority community organisations with governance, evaluation and funding expertise, helping them build resilience, navigate crises and sustain long-term impact. He has championed health equity, tackled Islamophobia and worked to amplify marginalised voices through projects like the COVID Champions Initiative and Steps to Sustainability programme. Mark's leadership during the 2024 summer riots was instrumental in supporting Muslim communities across Oldham, Manchester and London. His collaboration with Zahra Muhammad, former Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain, and programmes empowering minority women in political space reflect a deep commitment to inclusion and social change. Through tireless engagement, from grassroots initiative to EU-level forums, Mark has emerged as a vital ally and advocate for the Muslim community. His work exemplifies the best of partnership-based community development and intercultural understanding. Mark.
Truly, truly humbled. And thank you very much for the very kind words from your lovely Member of Parliament here in East London. Really, I am very humbled. I'm delighted to receive this award on behalf of everything we've been doing across the country in recent years. Love of all humanity and all living things is the life force of my faith as a Christian. It's why I get up in the morning. We all have a unique role to play in seeking to make the world the best vision of itself. I want to see the world a creative, well-being and flourishing for all. It's vital to stand up and be counted when you see inequality, suffering and intolerance. Of course, on behalf of the work I do on a day-to-day basis, which you've been acknowledging this evening, is with other hard-working colleagues, dedicated colleagues at Civil Society Consulting. We're based in Dalston, just down the road. We've got Natasha and Janaki here tonight, who are also working away to do what they can for social cohesion in our society. So I'm really delighted to accept this award for community engagement. We have as our central mission the goal of promoting social solidarity and togetherness in all our wonderfully diverse communities here in the UK. We do everything we can to ensure that Muslim-led civil society organisations and their faith-inspired leaders are given the tools to serve their communities and make the difference that they want to make in their communities. And it's often in some of the poorest neighbourhoods in the country that those Muslim-led community organisations are working away, beavering away. There have been some outstanding successes, and the foundations are being laid for even more success. Inclusion means we all feel safe, valued, and it is important in these troubling times that people facing religious hatred and intolerance have organisations such as ours and people such as us who have their backs. And we are an organisation that people can turn to for the support they need to make their organisations strong. And we try and bring that warmth and generosity of spirit to the work that we do. Finally, we wish to continue, and we have a project called Steps to Togetherness, and we've got some material about that out in the reception. We want to continue to embrace all Muslim communities with the warmth of our hearts and remain ambitious in our desire to generate new collaborations and partnerships with the people in this room to make this great country of ours more successful for all its citizens and for all of its communities. So thank you very, very much for this wonderful award. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Well done to Mark Iri Gueva, and thank you very much to Afsana Begum and also Muhammad Riaz Wali for coming to the stage to announce the winner and present the check. So well done to yourself. Thank you very much, Mark.
We'll be moving on to the next category, which is the Education and Development category. Now, to announce the runner-up, we are inviting Dr. Muhammad Abdul Bari, who is the former Central President of the Muslim Community Association and Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain. Currently, he is the chair of the Advisory Council of MCA, but I think beyond all of those titles, and most importantly, is that he has spent decades on decades educating people through books, through teaching, and through mentorship. As a young person that has benefited, he has demonstrated exactly what people in my generation need from those with experience and wisdom. To hand over the check, we have Atikur Rahman Zilu, former Central President of the Muslim Community Association, and like many others today, a veteran with decades and decades of service.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Thank you, Ayman. Thanks, MCA, for asking me to announce the name. I'll just announce the name of the great person who is the runner-up in education and development. And he is Professor Paul Reynolds.
Professor Paul Reynolds is a seasoned political and economic advisor whose work spans more than 60 countries, many with significant Muslim populations. As the former head of Liberal Democrats International and a veteran of multiple global initiatives, he has consistently championed issues affecting Muslim communities at home and abroad. His extensive advisory roles include serving as chief political advisor to the coalition forces in Iraq, serving British missions in Afghanistan, and consulting for the World Bank in Yemen. In the UK, Professor Reynolds works closely with Muslim embassies and community organizations, providing strategic counsel on foreign policy, Islamophobia, and human rights. He has also supported advocacy efforts around the Rohingya and Uyghur crises, offering guidance to campaigners and policymakers. His behind-the-scenes diplomacy and principled support for Muslim rights have left a lasting mark on international and domestic affairs.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all, and thank you very much for this wonderful event from the MCA. And I'm very pleased to be here and to see some familiar and happily quite a lot of unfamiliar faces too. I'm greatly honored by being awarded this award today and humbled by the appreciation which has been shown. So thank you very much. And I'd like to thank particularly Abdullah Al-Faliq for his cooperation and the work we have done together over many, many years. There are a lot of phobias and negative isms around these days. Islamophobia is rife in the United Kingdom, and it has a special characteristic in relation to the other phobias that one might come across. And in particular, the extraordinary shallowness and superficiality which underpins Islamophobia in Britain today. Islam is a religion of peace, but it's a religion of science, reason and learning. I mean, some historians describe Christianity as a religion of faith, Judaism as a religion of ethnicity, but Islam as a religion through which God has provided the gift of reason to the human race. And this relates to the superficiality of understanding about Islam across the UK. I mean, the ancient scholars and the origins in Arab culture and Islamic culture across Eurasia are not widely known in the UK today. I mean, for example, Al-Khwarizmi, the father of algebra and mathematics and quadratic equations, which is taught in schools today, and the famous Al-Haytham, who is the father of optics and also described as the father of scientific method. And these are Islamic scholars, and the understanding about Islamic history and science is little known today in this country. But how many people in this country know that the word algebra comes from Al-Jabra, who is an Islamic scholar? The word algebra is an Arabic word, as is the word algorithm. How many people in the UK know that algorithm is an Arabic word and of Arabic origin? This speaks to the lack of understanding of Islamic history and Arab history in Eurasia today. And even the Book of Medicine from 850 in the Golden Age, Islamic Golden Age, was being taught in medicinal schools in Europe in the 18th century, in the 17th century. The impact of science in the West from Islam, from Arab cultures and Persian cultures is immense. And somehow this is buried and concealed, and there's very little knowledge of this. So I would like to appeal to all of you, even those of you at the back, to do what you can to help the non-Muslim public to understand Islamic history, and especially the impact on science and philosophical thinking in the West. People know Ptolemy, and people know Euclid, and people know Pythagoras and Plato, but not Al-Fani and the Islamic scholars which have had such an enormous effect. I mean, most of modern astronomy is rooted in Islamic knowledge from the Golden Era. And I would appeal to you to do your best to ensure that those in our communities understand better the history. And this also, this understanding of Islamic history has an extraordinary psychological effect on Islamic communities in the United Kingdom. Many perhaps do not see themselves as coming from a scientific tradition, but that is the truth of it. So I would like to conclude by saying that there's much to be done in developing understanding of Islam, even in popular discourse. I know we're a bit closer here to Tottenham Hotspur than Arsenal, but Arsenal is an Arabic word. How many people in North London know that, I wonder? So I can see the not Tottenham Hotspur supporters at the back cringing as I speak. There are, that's the truth of it. Once more, thank you very much indeed for this award. I'm most grateful and most honoured, and I should continue my relationship with MCA and Muslim institutions across the United Kingdom. And I went, it's quite close to a crime for a public speaker to stand between the audience and dinner. So I'll leave you to that. Thank you very much indeed.
To announce the winner of the category, we have Rashida Mahmood, who is the head of philanthropy and partnerships at Islamic Relief, and has over a decade of tremendous experience supporting the philanthropy sector and has made an absolutely tremendous impact. And to give out the check, we have Kausar Ahmed, President of MCA's English Wing and a member of the Shura Council. If I could invite them both to join us on the stage so that we can announce the winner.
Okay, sure. Assalamu alaikum everybody. It's a real big pleasure to be here this evening, mashallah. Islamic Relief UK is very, very proud to be sponsoring this incredible Muslim Community Service Award. Alhamdulillah. Islamic Relief is very, very deeply rooted in the community. So from our UK programs that touch thousands of lives, to our volunteers, to our fundraisers that go up and down the country in every mosque, we actually know how brilliant the Muslim community is. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you all. It's a great honour and a pleasure to be presenting the Education and Development Award tonight. Our faith places a lot of emphasis on seeking education, and we believe that education is the key to enhancement in Alhamdulillah. So people that actually aid education, we believe them to be heroes. So it gives me great pleasure to announce the winner this evening, inshallah, and it's Francis Thomas Davis.
Professor Francis Thomas Davis is a leading academic in public policy and community development, currently based at the University of Birmingham and a visiting fellow at Kellogg College, University of Oxford. His career spans prestigious roles at Cambridge and Oxford, both, ministerial advisory positions at cabinet level, and a legacy of service-driven innovation. Over the decades, Professor Davis has made significant contributions to education and interfaith engagement. In the early 1990s, he spearheaded fundraising efforts for victims of the Bosnian conflict, including initiating Catholic Charity's first grant to Islamic Relief. He has actively supported Muslim communities through academic partnerships, such as helping the Muslim Council of Britain publish Oxford and Cambridge lectures and co-chairing major interfaith conferences in London and Birmingham. His work designing religious literacy training for Foreign Office staff, featuring a pioneering module on Islam, demonstrates his commitment to inclusive education. Recently, he launched a Catholic Muslim Young Leaders Training Scheme, fostering the next generation of interfaith changemakers. Professor Davis' long-standing contributions reflect the power of education as a bridge between communities to foster connection, inclusion, and transformation. Can we get a round of applause for Professor Davies?
Well, the first time I heard the azan, my parents tell me, was in Cairo, because although it doesn't show, I'm African born, and we were there, and I was standing in my cot, and apparently each time the call to prayer came, I would stand in my cot and I would sing and scream along in harmony to the inspiration of the Imam on the microphone. And it seemed to me as I was arriving today that life was coming full circle, because I remembered that the copy of the Holy Quran that I keep in a beautiful presentation box in my house was presented to me by Dilwar Khan at East London Mosque, and Dilwar was organised tonight, alhamdulillah. And how strange too then to be the winner and to be presented by Islamic Relief, where when I worked in Bosnia back in 92, 93, 94, I came back and encountered a young and dynamic organisation looking for resources for some agricultural projects in real communities where we saw real bullets and we raised real money to enable Islamic relief at that stage of its journey. So it's circular, isn't it? But what I'd want to say about the Muslim community is just thank you for the inspiration from my cot. When I was a young teenager, growing up in Portsmouth, playing county badminton, and all my doubles partners were regular members of the Wessex Jamaat and are now in the leadership of the Wessex Jamaat. Thank you for all my sports heroes whose posters I had on my bedroom wall, who came from Malaysia and Indonesia, not from Tottenham, that was terribly mentioned earlier. And thanks too for some of the inspirational people that I met on the journey working in Britain, some of them here today. I have to mention Dr. Mohammed Abdul Bari, Ibrahim Mogra, Mohammed Aziz, Dr. Husna Ahmed, and so many others. And one I'd particularly like to mention, who can't be with us tonight because he's no longer with us, and that's Judge Kershid Rabu, who was such an inspiration to so many of us in London and also on the coast. So I say thank you for the inspiration too, at a time of crisis when we need inspiration, don't we? Now, when I left Bosnia, it had been tough, and someone gave me a book by another judge, Judge Albie Sachs. And Albie, I've met since he wrote the South African Freedom Constitution. During the long days of struggle against apartheid, the South African Secret Services decided to blow him up. And in this beautiful book, he describes his recovery, coming around to discover that he no longer has one leg, he's lost an eye, he's lost an arm. And the description in this book is of his journey of wanting rage, of wanting vengeance, of wanting to go back and blow up the people that have blown up his body so violently. But he decides that the best way to get back at them is actually to go back to the beach where he'd sat out that morning to go for his run and to go on the run that he'd planned to do. And he calls this the soft vengeance of a freedom fighter. In the face of Bosnia, Srebrenica, 30 years. Thank you for mentioning that, Oliver. Darfur, Rwanda, where I've worked, the genocide going on in the moment. We need resilience. It's going to be a long haul. We need that inspiration to keep going back for that run every morning, no matter how many pieces of our body they've taken away, so the resistance can rise. So you've given me inspiration. And now it's our task to inspire for the future. Thank you. I must say thank you to my wife, who's here tonight, who's been brilliant throughout all those years.
Next award category. This is the Community Cohesion Award category, one that I hold very close to my heart. To announce the runner-up, if I could ask Ashraf Parvez, the partner of Ashraf & Co. Chartered Certified Accountants, who are also the gold sponsor for the Muslim Community Services Award, to come and announce the runner-up. And also to assist them, if I could ask for Musaddiq Ahmed, the Deputy General Secretary of the Muslim Community Association, to come with the check to hand over to the runner-up.
Assalamu alaikum. Tonight I'm going to announce the Community Cohesion category. And thank you to the judges, the difficult task done by them. So I'm just announcing here. The runner-up is Oliver McTernan. Oliver McTernan. Thank you.
So Oliver, if you could make your way to the podium. Oliver, as you know, is a respected mediator and founder of Forward Thinking, a charitable organization that fosters dialogue and mutual respect between faith and secular communities, particularly around the Middle East peace process. With extensive experience in conflict resolution, including initiating post-war talks between NATO and former Yugoslav government, Oliver has built a reputation for principled leadership in some of the world's most sensitive political arenas. A former visiting fellow at Harvard's Weatherhead Center, he also serves as a senior associate fellow at the UK's Defence Academy. Through Forward Thinking, Oliver has long supported Muslim individuals and organisations across the UK and abroad. His defence of those marginalised by raising Islamophobia has often placed him under criticism and scrutiny, yet his commitment has never wavered. Oliver's efforts have empowered Muslim and Arab youth through global innovation networks and supported interfaith collaboration under intense social and political pressure. His courage and vision embody true community cohesion in action.
You don't need to hear anything more from me, but to recognize that whenever you get an award, it's always the work of a team. And tonight, I would just like to, first of all, thank you for the honor of this, but also names come to mind. Hudud Jawad, Yusuf Desai, Yusuf Tai, who laid the foundations, and my colleague here, who should be standing on the stage for this, Jordan Morgan, who really pioneered hard in opening up the establishment to understand some of the issues of the community. So a thank you to them and a thank you for this. Thanks.
Moving on now to announce the winner for the community cohesion category. If I could ask for Lutfur Rahman, the Executive Mayor of London Borough of Tower Hamlets. No doubt again needs no introduction, well known locally, nationally and even internationally, and he'll be announcing the winner. And to present the cheque, if I could ask for Muhammad Habibur Rahman, the former president of the Muslim Community Association, to come with the cheque.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings of peace to each and every one of you. Just want to say a few words before I announce the name. I want to thank Muslim Community Association, the president and all the committee members. Thank you for inviting me. It is indeed a privilege to be here amongst such wonderful guests. We're here to celebrate and recognize individuals who have made huge contributions in their respective fields. Basically, acknowledge humanity, acknowledge humanitarian endeavors, and we are one ummah, one community. So excellent that work you're doing. I'm very grateful for being able to serve humanity in Tower Hamlets, 340,000 human beings. I'm very grateful. I too want to say a few words. I know Professor Mr. Oliver mentioned Srebrenica, and we had the Srebrenica Awareness Week this week. Brother Abdullah Falik and the council helped to organize it. I remember that 30 years ago on TV when the adults, the parents, the teenagers were separated from their mothers, their sisters. The Dutch United Nations force was was standing by. They didn't have the mandate. The United Nations Security Council didn't give them the mandate to step in and to prevent those adults, the fathers, the brothers and the children being separated from their mothers and their sisters. At that time, we all knew, international community knew, we all knew what was going to happen, and it did happen. Within a week, we witnessed the massacre of some 8,000 people in Bosnia, a disgrace on the part of the United Nations Security Council at that time. 30 years on, we have not learnt nothing. The world community, the Western powers, the big powers have not learnt anything. What we see in Gaza, in Palestine, is far worse than what we sadly saw in Bosnia. Some 70,000 people have been massacred, whilst the West, we in the West, our governments stand by and allows genocide to happen. It must be stopped. We must. And this is not me playing politics. I want to vote in Tower Hamlets. It's not because of that. It's because our heart breaks to see what is left behind in Gaza. There isn't a home, there isn't a school, hardly a hospital, hardly any human beings. To see people moving from one area to another area, and there's no one to protect them. And when we see the big powers, France, USA, Britain, when it comes to Nations Security Council resolutions, either they abstain or they vote against it. Tell your MPs, lobby your MPs, to tell the government to have the courage to vote against and vote in favor of an immediate ceasefire. I don't fear anything. I only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In 2014, we were the second council in the country with Glasgow to fly the Palestinian flag. That's our solidarity with the children in Gaza, ladies and gentlemen. May Allah bless those people who have died in Palestine. May Allah grant them shahada, martyrdom, and may Allah protect those people who are there now. Thank you very much. Can I announce the person who will receive the Community Coalition First Award is Chris Allen.
Chris Allen is actually unable to attend tonight, and we've got Professor Ron Geeves who will be collecting the award on his behalf. So Ron, if you could please come to the stage. I'll quickly mention with regards to Dr. Chris Allen, I'm sure many people here in the audience are very familiar with who Chris is and his work. He's a leading academic and policy expert who has dedicated over 2 decades to researching hate, extremism and Islamophobia in the UK. A fellow of the Higher Education Academy and the Royal Society of Arts, he is also an alumnus of the US Department of State's International Visiting Leadership Program and the John Adams Society. Chris' body of work is grounded in both academic rigor and real-world impact. His research has examined the ideologies of the far right, the experiences of Islamophobia victims, and the UK Prevent strategy. His influential book, Islamophobia, published in 2010, remains a cornerstone in this field. His work has informed submission to key national bodies, including the House of Lords, the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Islamophobia and Universities, and the Home Affairs Select Committee on Hate Crimes. Notably, Chris' recent investigation into Hindutva extremism in Leicester have sparked important national conversations. Despite exposing him to personal risk and public backlash, his willingness to challenge harmful narratives and stand up for marginalized communities reflects a rare blend of academic integrity and moral courage. Through fearless inquiry and impactful advocacy, Dr. Chris Allen continues to shape a more informed, inclusive and resilient Britain. And if I take the liberty also just to introduce Professor Ron Geeves. He's a professor at the Centre of Study of Islam in the UK and a professor of humanities at Liverpool Hope University and director of the Abdullah Quillen Museum and Heritage Centre in Liverpool. So he's receiving the award on behalf of Dr. Chris Allen.
Hey, you know, it's lovely to see your face, Chris. I wish you were here. If you'd have been here, I could have had a night off. But it really is truly an honor to receive this award on behalf of Dr. Christopher Allen. He's not only a colleague, but he's a friend. I'd like to say, as a friend, I considered when I was invited to come up here tonight, I didn't know, by the way, whether I should put a tie on. I had one in my pocket, but then I thought, you know, I've never seen Dr. Allen in a tie. Never. But in his honor, I put on a jacket. So I first met Christopher Allen at Wolverhampton University on the Walsall campus, School of Education. It was my first position as a junior lecturer, a mature junior lecturer, I may add, and I was teaching to students who were going to become teachers 6 religions. Chris Allen was one of my students and also a mature student. And I think he was a little inspired by me that there was an opportunity to go on and get a good academic career, even though you were a mature student and didn't wear a tie. So when I was doing my Islam module, which he went through, and at the end of it, he came to me and he said, "Ron, are you a Muslim?" I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Well, you've certainly convinced me." And of course, he's went on to what undoubtedly is an absolutely wonderful, celebrated career. It's typical of Chris. He's just a down-to-earth bloke, a really good person. And it's typical of Chris to write a groundbreaking book on Islamophobia, a book which started a sub-discipline in the study of religion. And he could have given it a fancy academic title, but he called a groundbreaking book Islamophobia. We all knew what it was about. I would like to say to Chris, I hope he's hearing, but up in Liverpool right now, I just recently brought together 3 academics who study Islamophobia. One from the University of Liverpool, one from my own university, Liverpool Hope, and one from John Moores. And we've started off a little centre for the study of Islamophobia in Liverpool, which has such a long history right back into the 19th century of contact with Muslims and Muslims in the city. That work, which I do now as a professor, stands upon the work that my student taught when he was an undergraduate, went on to achieve. Bless you, Chris. You're an absolutely wonderful scholar. We're all proud of you. I certainly am. Every teacher loves to see a successful student. Assalamu alaikum to you, Chris.
This next category is dedicated to those who decided to not give up and dedicate and sacrifice their lives in that pursuit of justice and equality, and I hope we can take inspiration from the outcomes of their work. So to announce the runner-up of the category, we have Judge Balayat Hussain. He holds the position of Judge of the first tier tribunal. He is one of the first professional judges from the Bangladeshi community and practicing and administering justice and equality in real time. To hand over the check, we have Mustaq Ahmed, Finance Secretary of the Muslim Community Association. Can you both please join the stage? Can we give them a round of applause?
Assalamu alaikum. To make up for the missing tie of the professor, I put my best one on. When I received a call from Delwar Bhai asking me whether I would be willing to be one of the judges of this award, I was euphoric, but that euphoria died down very quickly, realizing the hard work that is involved. I should know this because I had the bitter experience of being one of the judges on the first occasion when this was held. Nevertheless, I took up the challenge, and I am very grateful. We were guided in the task by the steady hands of the chair of the panel and of course the wisdom of the other judges. This particular event is of some significance to me personally. I grew up in the East End of London, in the Brick Lane area, at a time when the phenomenon known as Paki bashing was very much at large. I witnessed firsthand skinheads and other racists beating up people on the street. And I also witnessed firsthand brothers and sisters who are neither Muslim nor of the color of my skin initially being in the forefront, but lately standing shoulder to shoulder with us in the fight that ensued, that resulted in the relative peace that we now enjoy. Although we don't get beaten up as frequently as we did, thankfully, racism is still prevalent in this country and takes a much subtler form. And the award today is to recognize the work of those brothers and sisters who have carried on the tradition from the past and continue to support our community. I think for the Muslim community to be in a position to be able to award those that have helped us shows that we have come of age, and it is that we celebrate. And for the category that I'm asked to announce, which is justice and equality, the runner-up is Chris Doyle.
Chris Doyle is Director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding, where he has led efforts to strengthen ties between the UK and Arab communities through advocacy, education and diplomacy for over 30 years. A recognized expert on the Middle East, Chris has supported British Muslim and Arab communities through public commentary, parliamentary briefings and humanitarian coordination. His advocacy has included supporting detainee families, promoting rights-based foreign policy, and facilitating dialogue between MPs and Arab civil society.
Core of the work that we do at CARBU, the Council for Arab-British Understanding, where I'm the director. It is something that we have at the epicenter of our advocacy in Westminster, where we deal with members of Parliament, we brief them, we take them on delegations. We have taken 161 members of Parliament out to the occupied Palestinian territories since '97, including Sadiq Khan, Andy Burnham, Tracy Babin, who are now MPs, mayors, including members of the cabinet even. And it gives them the chance to see firsthand what is going on, that regime of apartheid, the occupation. And that is all about systematic injustice. We also have been to Gaza. And to talk about injustice, as I was listening earlier on, I thought I'd tell you what a friend of mine who I've known since 2009 in Gaza said to me recently. You'll all know that there was a High Court decision recently but unfortunately that Al-Haq brought but did not win on the arms trade to Israel. And I asked her about this, and she said to me, no, keep sending the bombs, because I'd rather die of being bombed than of starvation, disease, or thirst. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a genocide going on in Gaza. It's one that increasingly more and more people are calling out. It's a genocide where 2,000-pound bombs are being dropped on tents. It's a genocide where the President, the Prime Minister, the Defense Minister, and many other ministers and members of the Knesset have made genocidal comments. This is a fundamental quest for justice and to combat injustice. Our work and to echo Lutfur Rahman earlier on, is to push forward for these rights, to have an arms ban on the State of Israel, to ensure that we end the free trade agreement, to have sanctions that are not just on political will and fundamental human decency amongst the leadership of this world. So, I appeal to you, please write to your Member of Parliament, to any politician you know. We have a couple of weeks until recess, less than 2 weeks. It's now the moment to make your voices heard. Today, Palestinians in Gaza are offered 3 scenarios, not choices: death by bombing, death by starvation and disease, or forcible expulsion. We have to work to give them a different tomorrow and a different future. Please join us in that quest. Thank you.
To announce the winner of the category is Dr. Wajid Akhtar, Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain, and someone who I have had the long pleasure of working with over the years. And I'm absolutely happy to hand the mic over to him to give some words just after I announce that Dilawar Khan, former president of the Muslim Community Association, will be handing out the check.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The great poet Iqbal said, Muslims deserve to die. Muslims deserve to die because they have committed the greatest crime in humanity. And the greatest crime in humanity is to be weak. And the punishment for weakness is death.
Solidarity from the Stop the War Coalition, in whose name I'm accepting it, I guess. I'm also proud to have been involved for many years in struggles and fights alongside many of the people in this room against injustice, against deprivation, and in particular against the harassment by the far right in our borough and in the East End generally. I've lived in Tower Hamlets for many, many decades, and I think that those struggles that we have been involved in together have had a deep effect on the borough and on the whole East End of London. I think they've changed the way society is and the way people get along together in a very deep and profound way. I also want to just briefly turn the tables here, because I want to say that for me, and I believe for thousands and thousands of others on the left and in the movements, the Muslim communities in London and around the country have been a deep inspiration. Because you have been at the forefront of struggles. You have stood up against the Islamophobic attacks from the far right and from the police and from others. And not just that, you have also been at the forefront of the campaigns against the foreign wars that our successive governments have dragged us into, from Iraq to Afghanistan to Libya to Yemen, and of course now with their ongoing support for the Israeli genocide. And that has been deeply inspirational to me, and I think to many, many other people in this country. And we should be under no illusion. The campaigns, and I'm vice chair of the Stop the War Coalition and one of the people involved in organising the Palestine demonstrations, and those campaigns, I believe, have had a very, very deep impact on British society, and for the better. We haven't managed to stop all the wars. We haven't yet broken our government's support for Israel, but there is now in British society an argument going on. There is something approaching a social revolt in this country against the Israeli genocide and what our government is doing. And that is down to what you have done and to what we have done together. I also think these movements, and I'll end with this, I also think these movements, particularly the movements against foreign wars and in support of the Palestinian people, have helped to bring together the Muslim communities with the wider society in Britain and created a sense of common purpose and unity. And I tell you what, we need that unity and that sense of common purpose now more than ever. Because while our movement is growing and popular opinion is coming over to our side, this government and the police are trying to attack us and trying to divide us. And I believe we stand at a moment of danger, not just for the Palestinian people, but for freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of protest in this country as well. I was arrested on the January the 18th demonstration and am facing criminal charges for peaceful protest. So is Ben Jamal from the PSC and a whole number of other activists. We are going to have to continue to demonstrate, but not just continue to demonstrate. We are going to have to broaden, deepen this fantastic movement so that it has a presence in every community, in every workplace, in every town, in every city, up and down this country. The authority of this government is draining away. But we need to stay in the streets now to make sure that we don't just end British support for the Israelis, but we achieve finally what we all long for, freedom for the Palestinian people and a world based on justice, a world based on equality and a world based on peace. Thank you very much.
We now have a special Judges Award, and for that can I ask Professor Akil Ahmed to come to the podium to present the award. Professor Akil Ahmed again is another face that requires no familiarity with anybody. He is known as the former head of the religion and ethics in both Channel 4 and also the BBC. He currently runs his own media production and communication consultancy. So Professor Akil Ahmed, over to you. And he'll also mention a bit about the judges and the criteria that they use for the judgments that they've made.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Oh, seriously, I'm going to have to ask it again. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you very much. As we said, my name's Akil Ahmed. I am the chair of the judges. I'd like to say, when I was asked to be the chair of the judges, when Dilwar asked me, my initial reaction was, I'd rather eat my own feet. Not because I didn't believe in it, but because I knew that we were going to have so many great people nominated, the conversations were going to take too much time, and that we were going to, and in the end, we would be deliberating for so long, and it would be a difficult decision to decide who was the winner or who was the runner-up. And I think if you've seen today, you will have seen that actually the caliber of the people that we've given the awards to is fantastic. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm quite hungry, so I'm not actually going to take too much time. So what I wanted to do was to say, I just wanted to thank the judges. We had a number of meetings, and I have to say, during they were very decent. When we wanted to change things, the judges were there. They enabled those changes, and they also addressed all the subject matter that I think was really important. So I just wanted to thank my fellow judges. That's Dr. Basil Mustafa, Dr. Zaza El Sheikh, Dr. Husna Ahmed, Dr. Zahid Parvez, and Judge Belayef Hussain. I think a round of applause is deserved for those people. Thank you. Now, one of the things that we introduced this year, which Dilwar and the team went along with, and the judges agreed as well, was we decided to have a special Judges Award. And what a Judges Award is that means that the judges themselves, we had a conversation amongst ourselves with the senior leadership team from the MCA as well, and we talked about who we felt embodied all the right things about why somebody should be the recipient of this special Judges Award. Now, the person we're giving this award to today happens to be a personal friend of mine, which may have made it easier for me to actually have the conversation. But when I explain to you some of the things that he's done, you'll understand why we felt he was the right person. So Marcus Ryder is the CEO of the Film and TV Charity, which is a charity which supports all of those people working in the film and television industries. He's also the chair of RADA. He's been an executive producer at the BBC. He's worked in China. He's worked all over the place. He's also the co-author, of a book with Lenny Henry, there's Access All Areas, and co-edited Black British Lives Matters. He received an MBE in 2022, and the reason why in particular we feel this is a very important award to give to Marcus was after the events of October the 7th, many people came to me and asked me, what can we do? What is it like? How can we get help working in this industry? I reached out to Marcus. Marcus, with the Film and TV charity, decided to run a series of workshops with me, and I brought in teams of Muslims and Arabs working in film and TV in Britain. We had roundtables, and a survey was done with all the staff, roundtables with all the people in the British television and media industry, and the end result is a commitment from British television to have training on anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Now, for those of you who are still listening to me speaking rather than eating, you may realize that actually that's quite a big achievement to have that kind of training. So, yeah, thank you. So I can say, if you could join on me on the stage, Marcus Ryder.
To present the cheque, if I could ask Barrister Hamid Azad, the Central President of the Muslim Community Association, to hand over the cheque to the Special Judges Award winner of the Film and TV charity, looking after the physical, financial and mental well-being of people working in the film, television and cinema industries, and seeking to addressing issues of inequality and discrimination. In 2021, Marcus was appointed the chair of RADA, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. In 2020, he established the Sir Lenny Henry Centre for Media Diversity and worked in the media industry for over 30 years. He is a co-author of Access All Areas, the Diversity Manifesto for TV and Beyond, and the co-editor of British Life Matters with Sir Lenny Henry. In 2022, he was awarded an MBE for his service to the UK media industry and was awarded an honour doctorate by Bournemouth University in 2024.
Well done. Thank you so much. This is a massive honour, and I think it's really important that we understand that this award should be going to the Film and TV charity. I am obviously representing that charity, but this is an award for the Film and TV charity. And so as such, I really want to thank two special people at the Film and TV charity, and that is Yahya Barry, former Imam of Edinburgh Mosque, who works at the charity, and Anna Mishkon, who is head of our Mentally Healthy Productions, because between them, they were absolutely critical in the approach that the charity took following the events of October 7th to make sure that we looked after the mental health of people working in the film and TV industry. I would like to address a massive taboo in too many communities, and that is the mental health of people in these different communities. Following October 7th, we did a survey, and 94% of respondents of Muslim, Arab and Jewish people working in film and television, 94% of respondents experienced a deterioration in their mental health. Only 23% felt supported by their employers. That means that people who are doing critical journalism, critical work, day in, day out, do not feel that they are going in to the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, you name the broadcaster, you name the news organisation, feeling supported. It is absolutely critical that we support the mental health of the people who are doing such important work. Another survey that the Film and TV charity looked at is the loneliness of people working in the film and television industry. And once again, Muslim and people of Arab backgrounds suffer the worst loneliness of any group working in film and television. Loneliness is a major driver of mental ill health. So I will wrap up by saying that we must look after ourselves, we must support each other, and we must make sure that we lower the barrier to as low as possible so that people can access the services that they so importantly and so critically need to support their mental health. Thank you very much.
If I could ask for Oliver McTurnan to come and present to us his keynote speech. Now, Oliver is a respected mediator and co-founder of Forward Thinking, a charitable organisation that fosters dialogue and mutual respect between faiths and secular communities. Oliver.
Assalamu alaikum. I think there are two words that we frequently hear, and perhaps a little overused, and that's the word honour and the word privileged. But tonight I truly do mean what I say when I say it's a real honour and a real privilege to be among you this evening and to share with you some of these thoughts, remarks. 21 years ago, when Forward Thinking was set up, we had a vision, a belief, and that was that there should be no institution in this country, in the UK, the British Isles, where a person of faith, and in particular a Muslim, feels that they have to leave their faith at the door in order to feel that they belong in the institution. Now, 21 years on, I wish I could speak to you tonight and say what a success that was. But sadly, I think we have a long way to go to achieve that aim and objective. And I say that because just a couple of years ago, we had a meeting of our alumni of the Pathway into Politics, which was set up by my colleague at Forward Thinking, Jordan Morgan. And Jordan worked hard on selecting young Muslims who had an interest in politics, and we had a year program exposing them to all aspects of British life, understanding the political process. In the East London Mosque, as I say, a couple of years ago, we had a group of them came together to review the program. What struck me very deeply was the fact that this group of very bright, intelligent, well-educated, professional, and some in a political capacity, of British-born Muslims felt that they really, truly didn't belong. And that was very hard to hear. But what they were saying, the challenge we have as young Muslims, professionals, politically engaged, university educated, our challenge is to ensure that the next generation will not feel what we feel. And I think that is a challenge tonight we all share. We mustn't turn a blind eye to that or feel things are going well. We have deep issues that we need to address together. I think when I reflect back on the last 21 years, I think one of the most destructive and harmful interventions took place when we had a change of government in 2010. And that was when a well-known organization claiming to be Muslim wrote to every minister coming in and to every government department listing Muslim organizations as dangerous. I'm sure most of you here tonight are aware of that letter that circulated. For me, the sadness is that the legacy of distrust it has created is still embedded in our institutions. And I think it's only when we recognize that and when we recognize the mindset it has helped to create, then I feel we will start making the progress we should, where all of us with faith feel that we belong whatever institution we're part of, that we don't have to leave our beliefs at the door. As you're aware, Friday is the 30th anniversary of the genocide at Srebrenica. And I'd like to thank our good friend and colleague for many, many years, Abdullah Falik, for keeping the memory of Srebrenica alive within the communities. But this... The sadness, though, is when we look at the daily horror our brothers and sisters are suffering in Gaza, when we look at the genocide that is happening now in front of our eyes, and unlike Srebrenica, we are seeing it on a daily basis, the question remains, what have we learned in the past 30 years? Every single day, we're in communication with our network of friends and colleagues in Gaza. And the question always on their lips is, why the silence? Why don't we hear people speak up about why don't we hear people speak out about the inhumanity of what is happening to us? And sadly, all one can say is fear. I think what we're witnessing, we're at a very dangerous time in our global history, because I fear what we are actually witnessing now is not just a collapse of the old international order, the rule-based order that grew out of the horrors of the Second World War, but we're also witnessing a total indifference to the sufferings of others. And I think the reason is, as I say, people are sometimes afraid of speaking out. In the Gaza situation, I think it is, as we all know, that if we speak out and say what is happening before our eyes and what we're witnessing, we risk being cancelled with the accusation of anti-Semitism. I've always said, when we feel the need to witness to injustice, I keep in mind the words of the former Israeli Foreign Minister Lapid, a party leader. In his address to the United Nations in 2022, he, in his speech, said, to speak hatred language of Jews is anti-Semitic, and everyone would agree. Then he went on to say, to treat Israel different from any other country is anti-Semitic. Now, when I heard those words, I said, thank you, Lapid, because that is precisely what we are doing today. We are excusing Israel of its responsibility in the face of international law. And as I say, it's a misplaced fear. If we're concerned for people, regardless of their race, their color, their religion, if we're concerned for people, we speak out when we have to. Otherwise, as I say, we celebrate, or not celebrate, but commemorate the 30th anniversary of Srebrenica genocide, but we also should remind ourselves that the failure now of governments, of communities to speak out in face of what's happening in Gaza means we have learned nothing. And I think we have a shared responsibility to the human race to let our voices be heard. One of the big worries, and I don't want to finish on a note, it should be a note of hope, but one of the big concerns we have is the narrative that is now taking hold. And the narrative is what we are witnessing in Palestine and in Iran is a battle for civilization. This is the front line of the battle to maintain Judeo-Christian values, whatever those are, in the face of radical Islam. In our work, we hear that daily. We hear it on the media, we hear it in political circles, and what I'm bringing it up this evening is what it has done. It has unveiled something that is deep, and that's a deep sense of Islamophobia. The right, or far right, I should say, in Europe and stretched over even to Canada, are using this narrative. And it's a narrative that we again must have the courage to stand up together and to withhold and to, in fact, face it straight on, because it's an extremely dangerous narrative. Let me just finish by saying we've recently heard a new definition for peace. We've heard, on the words of President Trump, peace through strength, mainly military power. Well, I was brought up, it was 60 years ago, I learned from an encyclical letter called Populorum Progressio, the progression of the people, in my own Catholic tradition. And it defined peace as the fruit of an anxious daily care to see that each person lives in the justice that God intends. I think we should be united in ensuring that that definition of peace, which comes from our own holy books and traditions, that should be the value that we work to uphold, that we never allow interests to actually come before the principles and values that make us the people we are. Thank you. Shukran.
Oliver, thank you ever so much for your thoughtful and very wise words. Food for thought for us to really think about how we as a community galvanize, work together, move forward so that we can address some of the more pressing issues that affects all of us, not just one section of the community. So we've got some entertainment for you now, a nasheed, an Islamic song, to be performed by Shahid Falahi, who's a nasheed artist quite renowned in the UK, and I've heard him sing many times, and he is indeed fascinating. So with my great pleasure, Shahid Falahi, who'll be coming to the stage to perform a nasheed for us live here today.
Assalamu alaikum, and first of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so delighted to see so many familiar faces. And without further delay, the song that I'm about to perform, it's in commemorating our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I hope you'll enjoy it, inshallah, but it'd be lovely if you can join in with me. It's a very easy number, and I'm sure, if not the first time round, second time round, you can join in. So here it goes. أنت الفجر بعد الليل جئتنا بنور المهد أنت الفجر بعد الليل جئتنا بنور المهد جئت بالحب والسلام يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك. Like the dawn after a long night, you came as a guiding light. Like the dawn after a long night, you came as a guiding light. You brought happiness and peace, O beloved Rasulallah. Ya Nabi salam alayka, Ya Rasul salam alayka, Ya Habib salam alayka, salawatullah alayka, Ya Nabi salam alayka. Aji অশান্ত ধরায় তোমারি একটু ছোঁয়া চায় আজি অশান্ত ধরায় তোমারি আলম কাছে নাও ইয়া রাসূলুল্লাহ ইয়া নবী সালাম আলাইকা ইয়া রাসূল সালাম আলাইকা عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك आप है महबूब खुदा हम के नाखास्ता बंदा आप है महबूब खुदा हम के नाखास्ता बंदा आपकी शफाअत के मुहताज है हम या रसूल अल्लाह या नबी सलाम अलैका या रसूल सलाम अलैका या हबीब सलाम अलैका सलावतुल्लाह अलैका या नबी सलाम अलैका Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much.
Shahid Falahi, folks, thank you very much for, this was a multi-language, those who understood it was in Urdu, in English, and also in Arabic. Well done for that.
মুসলিম কমিউনিটি অ্যাসোসিয়েশনের পক্ষ থেকে আমরা যারা নন মুসলিম মুসলিম কমিউনিটির কাজে বিভিন্ন বিষয়ে হেল্প এন্ড সাপোর্ট করেছেন তাদের জন্য আমরা অ্যাওয়ার্ড আয়োজন করেছি। আমরা গত 2023 সালে আমরা প্রথমটা করেছিলাম, এই বছর আমরা দ্বিতীয়টা করেছি এবং বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির বাইরেও যে ব্রিটিশ কমিউনিটিতে যারা বিশেষ করে মুসলিমদের জন্য কাজ করছেন তাদেরকে সেলিব্রেশন করা, তাদের কন্ট্রিবিউশনকে সেলিব্রেট করা জন্য আজকের এই ইভেন্ট। এবং দেশের বিভিন্ন জায়গা থেকে আজকে এসেছেন, তারা উইনার যারা হয়েছেন তাদেরকে আমরা প্রাইজ দিয়েছি তাদের কন্ট্রিবিউশনের জন্য। এবং এটা একটা ফ্ল্যাগশিপ ইভেন্ট হচ্ছে এমসিএর, এবং আমরা আশা করি বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটি সহ ব্রিটিশ কমিউনিটি এর মাধ্যমে উপকৃত হবেন।
5টা ক্যাটাগরিতে আমরা দেই। এই 5টা ক্যাটাগরি হচ্ছে মানে মুসলমানদের ওয়েলফেয়ারের জন্য যারা কাজ করে, এঙ্গেজমেন্টের জন্য যারা কাজ করে, তারপরে এডুকেশনের জন্য যারা কাজ করে, এইভাবে 5টা ক্যাটাগরিতে আমরা তাদেরকে অ্যাওয়ার্ড দিয়ে থাকি। একটা হচ্ছে উইনার আর একটা রানার্স আপ। যারা উইনার তাদেরকে আমরা একটা ক্রেস্ট এবং 2000 পাউন্ড কোনো একটা অর্গানাইজেশন, যে অর্গানাইজেশন থেকে ওনারা এসেছেন সেই অর্গানাইজেশনের জন্য আমরা আসলে দিয়ে থাকি এটা। এরপরে রানার্স আপ 1000 পাউন্ড এবং একটা ক্রেস্ট দেওয়া হয়, ওনার নমিনেটেড একটা অর্গানাইজেশনকে দেওয়া হয়।